Ready?
Are you ready?
Yeah. All right. The timer started. Beautiful. Hello.
Hi.
My name is Brian. I'm an undergraduate student here at IUP. I'm learning helping skills. Today we have 20 minutes to talk. And after our session, we're going to complete some measures. We're going to review the tape. And I want you to know that everything we talk about here today will be kept confidential. The only exceptions to this, there are two. If you express thoughts about hurting yourself, someone else, or if you mention any childhood physical or sexual abuse. Do you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay. Um, Now the last time, and this isn't, we don't have to talk about, necessarily what we talked about last time, but just as a summary for our last session, we talked about a little bit about your nighttime anxiety, and, feelings of being unsafe. Also, we kind of talked a little bit about feelings of uncertainty after graduation. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that something you'd like to continue today, or would you like to talk about something else?
I think I would like to talk about something else.
Absolutely.
After we talked, the last time I kind of thought it over and realized like the worst thing is not going to happen, like
Right.
when I close my eyes.
Right.
And I just think I've been more at ease at night.
Well, I'd like to say that's awesome. And real quick, right now, how do you feel now? I guess the last time, we talked about you being anxious before going to sleep. Now, like, just real quick, how do you feel before going to sleep now?
I still feel like the tiniest bit anxious,
Yeah.
but I had like started this like weird new routine, but like it kind of eases my mind.
Mhm.
I lay down and then like if I think I hear something, I go out and I give my dog a kiss goodnight,
Yeah.
and then I come back in my room and I lay down and go to bed, and just like going out there and seeing like nobody's out there just kind of puts my mind at ease.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds to me like you've developed a, healthy mechanism for dealing with that anxiety. So
Yeah.
awesome. Celebrate yourself. That's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what would you like to talk about today?
So this has been kind of on my mind, but I had this roommate and things were going great. We lived together freshman year, and then we moved into an apartment together. And the same dog that I have now quickly became an issue.
Right.
So it started off as one day I went home and I left like a few dishes in the sink.
Right.
And I said, "Hey, I'm going home, like, see you Monday." And on my way home, I get a phone call from her mother.
Oh.
And
Okay.
we're all grown adults here, so.
Right.
And she just started like bashing me and like saying that my dog can't live there anymore and that she's not paying for any damages, like just going off on me.
Okay. So can you explain, so when she was, going through saying, I'm not paying for any damages, it just, really, reading you the riot act, how did you feel?
I was very angry.
Angry?
But I'm not the type of person like in the moment, if somebody's arguing with me, I cannot fight back. I don't know why.
Right.
But my brother like could hear in the background
Sure.
and he was like yelling at her for me, kind of like being my protector.
Right.
So that helped a little bit, but at the same time, like my grandpa was dying and she was like, I'm gonna call your dad. And I'm like, don't bring my dad into this. Like that just enraged me because, not everything is such a big deal.
Right, right. And question, did the roommate contact you prior to this, or was
No.
from the start so it was just the mother? It
Yeah.
wasn't your, okay.
So then after like that all went down, it just literally snowballed
Right.
from there. Like
Yeah.
I got sick one night at 2 o'clock in the morning and we lived on the third floor and I didn't take the throw up that was in the garbage out to the dumpster at 2 o'clock in the morning. And she brought that up and how it smelled like my dog in there. And over winter break, I didn't go back to my apartment and vacuum
Right. No, rewind a little bit. When your mother, or when, not your mother, when her mother was talking to you, and you said like it was making you feel angry, um, the fact that it wasn't her, but her mother, did it make you feel almost as if she was demeaning or you know, talking to you like a child. You
Yeah,
know,
very much
like
so.
one child tattled on another, and the mother now has to step in.
Yeah,
Right.
that's exactly how it felt. And it was also frustrating because this girl and I had been friends for so long, so I'm like, I don't understand why you didn't feel you could come talk to me about this. Like, if you're that upset over some dishes in the sink, like, I'll turn around and wash them. Like,
Right.
and it was one of those friendships, like, you do one thing for me, I do one thing for you. So for her to wash two or three of my dishes did not seem like it was.
Right. Right. So, do you think? Well, actually, as you're sitting here talking about this situation, or scenario, rather, how are you feeling right now when you're talking about
I'm
it?
getting kind of
Are
angry
you
again.
getting angry?
Yeah.
Like, what's that like right now? What does anger look like for you? What does it look like right now? The way you're feeling.
I feel like I could call her up and yell at her.
Yell at her.
But the funny thing is, like, we didn't speak for months, and then all of a sudden one day it was fine. So, like, I think the problem now is I never got that closure. Like, I never got to be petty back.
Right. Right. Well, how would it serve you if you would have got that closure? Like, how would it have benefited you?
I don't think it would have. I think I honestly think it would have just made things worse. But me as a person, like I said, I'm very much not the type of person to fight back. And like, I let people just walk right all over me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like looking back, I'm like, I really just wish I would have said something. But you're right. I don't think it would have benefited anybody.
Yeah. I noticed, when you were, detailing the situation, you said that your brother was yelling beside you, and you used the word protector, which is also a word that you used in the first session when you were talking about you weren't having as much fear, um, when you stayed with your father initially. You
Yeah.
know, so let me ask you, um, do you feel that you need a protector? That.
Honestly, now that you like put it out there, I do think like, and especially like when my boyfriend comes to stay, I'm not worried at all. Like the thought of somebody breaking in doesn't enter my mind, and I think it's because I know somebody else is there. Like I feel like if something were to happen and I was by myself, I don't think I could protect myself. But then like when I lived with my dad and then my brother and like when my boyfriend comes to stay, like I just feel safe.
Right. I mean, what's the evidence that you need them to feel safe? Is there? Is there evidence?
No.
You know? Hmm. So, all right. Let's picture that. Would the conversation with the lady's mother, would it have been any different had your brother not been there?
Um, I really don't think so. Just because like he wasn't like right there, like he was in the other room, but she could hear him yelling. And it almost seemed to make her more mad, like which I don't understand why, because
Right.
like he's my brother, he's gonna, defend me.
Right.
So it almost just seemed like I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know.
No, and it's, interpersonal relationships are tricky. They're confusing, Um, it sounds like, like I alluded to earlier, you felt like you weren't being treated as an adult, you know? And, the thing is, it's almost, what I'm thinking here is like, wanting or feeling as if we need a protector and not being treated as an adult are kind of incongruent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
like, yeah,
going along with that, it is kind of funny you do say that because I was petty like just a tiny bit. I called my mom bawling because this woman screamed at me for like a good half hour.
yeah,
So I called her and I was like telling her what happened. And then she had texted this lady's mother and was like, you're not about to sit here and talk to my daughter this way. So then they started bickering back and forth. Like it was just like a big, like petty brawl
right.
all over some dishes.
Right. Yeah. Has there ever been an experience in your life where you were able to, where you stood up for yourself, and like after that, you felt like, you know, from talking to people and in my own personal experiences, when I'm able to be assertive and rational, standing up for myself, I personally feel a sense of, you know, like I did something.
Yeah.
Has there ever been any situations where you were assertive and you stood up for yourself and you didn't have like your brother or anyone there, and you did that for yourself?
Yeah, actually the same friend, um, I want to say it was like that summer before that school year.
Yeah.
So my brother went to a party and he came home and he was like, she was talking bad about you. But he is not somebody to get in drama. Like I will tell him drama and he's like, okay, I don't care. Like he's so blunt, he doesn't care.
Right.
So I messaged her and I was like, were you talking about me? Like, I just want to know.
Mm-hmm.
And she had said, no, why would you believe your brother over me? And I'm like, because he doesn't care. Like he literally doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I called her and I actually like we did argue and I was like, I'm not putting up with this. Like you don't need to talk bad about me, especially when you know my brother's right there. And she just kept saying she didn't and she didn't know why I didn't believe her. And I was like, I'm not doing this. And I think that is the one and only time I stood up for myself and
Right.
it did feel good.
Yeah. Well, it sounds to me that you felt heard, that you were able to voice, how you felt to her. And, I know a lot of times, it's not about the outcome. A lot of times it is about the outcome, but like maybe she wasn't receptive to what you were saying, but you said it. You said your piece,
Yeah.
right? And I think you should be proud of yourself for that. Celebrate that. And so I guess looking back here, so you haven't felt heard in that relationship with a friend. I guess now, do you communicate with her whatsoever?
Yeah. I ended up moving out because she tried getting me kicked out of my apartment and I said, I'm on the lease, my dog's on the lease, like
Sure.
there's nothing you can do. So we had to break our lease for the next year and I moved out on my own and then she fought with her other roommates and now she lives in the building across from me and our boyfriends are friends. So I think that's kind of what like makes us talk now is like the
Right.
boyfriends being friends.
Right. Is it the same quality relationship prior to, the last semester or last year rather, when before everything went to the wayside, I guess, like before her mother called you? Is it the same type of relationship or?
Well, not really because I learned to not share a lot with her.
Mhm.
Like she dumps her problems on me and I don't really do the same. Like
Right.
sometimes I try to relate and like, oh yeah, I fought with my boyfriend about this, but
Sure.
like if something happens between us, I don't tell her. I don't really try to
Mm-hmm.
like we're friends, but I don't try to like get her
Right. I'll cut
like
this
keep
out.
her in the loop.
I'll cut this out. Was that 5 minutes? No. Oh, cool. I'm gonna cut it out. Have you ever heard of? There's an expression, about anger and resentments, and holding on to resentment and anger is like taking poison and hoping the other person dies.
Yeah.
And again, it sounds like you've been able to deal with this, move past this issue, move past this you know, uh, difference of opinion between your former roommate and you, and you've been able to, in a healthy way, maintain that and set up a healthy boundary with her. Correct?
It does still bother me. Like I think about it kind of a lot and like I try to think about it to remind myself like don't let her in
Mm-hmm.
because I've been hurt,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know, it does stay on my mind, but you're right, like I have tried to.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel that this experience with her has impacted any other relationships you might have with making friends or letting other people get close?
No, I don't think so. Well, okay, maybe at first I do, and then once
Yeah.
I see like how genuine somebody is, then I'm like, okay, I let you in.
Was this one of the first times that you lived with another person?
Besides a family member, yeah.
Yeah. And you knew each other beforehand?
Yeah, we grew up together, but we weren't like we played softball together, but then we just weren't close.
Right.
But I've always known who
You
she is.
just know her, yeah. So there's a familiarity with her. So today, we kind of not been all over the place, but like we started talking about the past what we talked about last session rather. We kind of like hit on like as far as you not being treated like an adult in that phone conversation, but also like a need for a protector. I think hearing the way you've dealt with it, it sounds like you've been able to deal with things healthy in a healthy way. Would you say so?
I'd say it's taken a while.
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm still not like 100% with everything.
yeah,
Like I try to tell myself like do not like just go at it, like
right,
take a step back
right.
and look at the bigger picture, but it doesn't always happen.
Well, they say the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry, and it sounds to me, it's a process, not it's not an event.
Yeah.
And I'd like to commend you. You're doing very good job of just dealing with life. Life is difficult.
Life is very
It's
difficult.
difficult, and it sounds to me like you're finding healthy ways to navigate it. So
Well, thank you.
you're very welcome. All right.
Well, did we run over?
No, you had about like a minute and a half.
I'll take it.
Oh, that went by fast.
Mm-hmm.